A very, very warm good morning to all of you. Welcome back to Upscale, Scale Up Your Skills, a platform where we are making efforts to give you exposure to as much knowledge as possible that we can give. So thank you so much for all your support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for attending and being responsive. Another day, another opportunity to learn new things. And today we have a fantastic speaker with us. I invite Pina Nair to please come forward to take the morning proceedings forward.
Thank you so much, Tulika. Good morning to all my dear teachers of Seth MR Jaipuria schools and all other educators who have joined this webinar series. I can see I'm getting messages from many teachers, who have connected with us with Jaipuria schools through this webinar series. We started on June 11th, where Dr. Saha gave a wonderful speech, which gave a lot of food for thought for all of us. And after that, we had many speakers from all over India. To mention a few, we had Prema ma'am from Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, who spoke about inclusive education, how to integrate art and craft and make an integrated learning. We had Sudhir sir from Guntur, and we had Subhash Nair, who spoke in length about active learning pedagogies from Qatar, and we had an excellent speaker who helped you understand to kindle the creativity in students by Soma from Mumbai. And we had many speakers, many excellent speakers from Delhi, Dr. Rajesh, Dr. Rajput, Sajid Ali, and Mr. Anil Kumar, principal of DPS Faridabad, all were from Delhi. I'm missing out a few names. We had Anirudh Chitra from Haryana, who spoke about constructivism. Then we had Rajesh Ranjit from Gorakhpur, who also gave an insight to learning. And we had Sonu and Gauri, who spoke from Madhya Pradesh, Indore. So we were getting people from different places, different region, but they had one thing in common. They all were educationists, and they had an expertise in the field in which they spoke about. Today we have another dynamic, young, versatile speaker who is a professor, but he's a young professor from Bangalore. And so I'm just going to read. He is Dr. Ravi Narayan Chakrakoti, and I'm going to read out his profile. Dr. Ravi Narayan Chakrakoti is a professor at the Regional Institute of English, South India, Bangalore, where he trains in-service teacher in English language pedagogy. He has an MA in teaching English to speakers of other languages with distinction from the University of Lancaster, UK. He is a lead coordinator for the British Council India's Action Research Mentoring Scheme for the 2019-20 cohort. More than 60 teacher researchers and 16 mentors from several different states of the country were part of his mentoring teacher research project. Wow. He has conducted many teacher education courses, research projects, and materials development workshops across India. He has presented a paper at International Association of Teachers of English as a Foreign Language conference, which was held in Manchester in 2015. He has worked as a chairperson of English course books for the Department of Education, Government of Karnataka. His book on Learn English, Teach English, English Skills for Teachers was published by the Oxford University Press of India. I want all the teachers to get that book for the library. I think it is going to give you, make you a better teacher of English language. He is passionate about reading, training teachers and researching classrooms. Very interesting passion. He has conducted many workshops for teachers working in CBSE and ICSE schools across the country. So we are very fortunate to have the dynamic, versatile professor, Dr. Ravi Narayan, with us to speak about reflective practices in teaching. Over to you, Ravi.
Yeah, Thank you, madam. Good morning. Good morning, everyone, all of you who are associated with Jaipuria schools. And thank you very much for inviting me to be part of the series of webinars, online teacher training programs of your organization. I'm going to talk about reflective practices in teaching. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this concept of reflecting on classroom practices. So let me begin by sharing my slides. Yes. I'll make it full screen once. Yeah. So that's the topic for today's presentation. This session will look at some of these questions, like we'll see what is reflection, how does reflection help in teaching? And finally, how can teachers and teacher educators engage in reflective practices? As Lavo, an educationist, a philosopher, said, knowing others is intelligence, knowing yourself is true wisdom. So look at that. Knowing others is a sign of intelligence, but knowing yourself is real wisdom. Right. So I'd like to begin my presentation by asking you a few questions. You can use your chat window to type your responses. Just take 1 minute before you type your responses. Think about these 5 questions and then choose 1 or 2 most interesting questions to reflect on. You can also type on Facebook if you're watching it live on Facebook. All right, so the questions are, what was my best moment this week or last week? And how can I have more moments like it? Okay, first question. What was my best moment this week or last week? How can I have more moments like it? Second question, what was my most challenging moment and why? How will I respond next time? Question number 3, how was my mood with others this week or last week? How was my mood with others this week? Others maybe at home or in your organization. How was my mood with others this week? And how can I improve it? What did I do for myself? And why is this important? Finally, what do I want everybody to be able to say about me? What do I want everybody to be able to say about me? So think of these questions, choose 2 most interesting questions and try to reflect on them. And you can post your responses on the chat window, please. And then I want 2 or 3 teachers to come on screen and talk about some of these questions. Yeah, we can have 4 or 5 teachers.
Okay, we'll try and find teachers, Ravi, from the lot, and we'll upgrade them accordingly. Right?
Good. Thank you.
We can randomly pick the teachers, Jyoti.
Yeah, we are doing that, ma'am. I am calling up Litin Matthew from Faizabad, ma'am.
Yeah, Litin, if you are in the attendee list,
there,
we are promoting you.
He's there. And then let me try if Namra is there. Namra is also there.
So Namra from St. Emar Jaipuria School, Barabanki.
I think he's there. I'll also cancel the spotlight so that everybody is visible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put it on the gallery mode. Yeah, Litin has joined. Great. Namra has also joined. Great.
So that means the teachers are attending very carefully. You know, we could pick the teachers randomly and they are online with us to interact with Ravi.
So I would not say favorite, but I like this teacher a lot. So I'm calling upon Sheesh Kamal Mishra also.
Kamal is from Barabanki, St. Emar Jaipuria School, Barabanki. So we have a representation from St. Emar Jaipuria School, Faizabad, and we have Sheesh Kamal from St. Emar Jaipuria School, Barabanki.
Ma'am, also Akanksha of Rajajipuram has been asking questions regularly.
Okay.
So I'm also calling her up so that she can directly.
From Seth MR Jaipuria School,
Um,
Rajajipuram.
Yeah. So you'll have to switch on your Sheesh Kamal. You have to switch on your video.
Yes. Yes.
Akanksha, you also please switch on your video because you'll be interacting.
Yeah. Please start. Can you start now?
Yeah, they are there.
Yeah.
Akanksha is there. Litin is
Yes,
there.
yes.
Sheesh
Yes,
Kamal, your
ma'am.
video
Good
is not
morning,
on.
ma'am.
So
Namra,
who would
you
like
can
to
switch
begin?
on. Unmute yourself.
Yeah. Who would like to begin? Which question would you like to reflect on? Yeah, please start.
Akanksha,
Yes.
Namra, which question would you want to reflect on?
I would take up the first question.
Yeah.
Can I? Okay. So what was my best moment this week? So I found a pet. And he was very hungry. So I brought him in my home and I feed him, and I didn't want it to leave. But yes, I had to leave because everyone was scared that again I will keep him. So I think that was my best moment because still I feel that yes, I've done something good.
Okay. Okay. Great. Yeah. Thank you. Who is next?
Sir, good morning, sir.
Yes.
Namra, you ask your question?
Litin is asking.
Yes.
Acha, okay, fine.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So I'm just speaking the last question first time.
Yeah.
What do I want everybody to be able to say about me?
Okay. Good.
So I would like to, all are just welcoming the good appreciation same way. I would like to get the appreciation from others, that is, I'm frank and sincere.
Excellent. Very good. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Who is next?
Very good morning, all of you. It's my honor to be a part of this panel and be able to sit in front of such eminent personalities and present my answer. To begin with, I would like to say the second last question. That is, what did I want to do with myself and why is it important? During this lockdown period, I found that we are ignoring our health. We are into such kind of routine and such kind of life that we are totally become ignorant of what we are actually. So this last week, I tried and I just decided that I'll just concentrate on my health, because health is wealth, no matter what we are. If we are not healthy, we are not able to succeed in life. So that's
True.
why.
Yeah. Thank you. True. You're right. Thank you. Next, please. Anyone else?
Sheesh Kamal, you please ask your question.
Yeah.
Please switch on your video and ask your question, or reflect on the question. What not
Oh,
question?
he was here. Sheesh Kamal, your video was on. What happened?
Sheesh Kamal is here.
Yeah, his video was on. I don't know what happened.
Maybe he has gone frozen.
No, he's there. He's there.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Sheesh Kamal, your video is not on. Can you try that?
Ma'am, my video is on.
We cannot see you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ma'am, it is
Ma'am, the
on.
bandwidth
Already
It's
would be a
okay.
little
Bandwidth
low.
might be a problem.
Network
Yeah.
issues were
It's
there,
okay.
ma'am.
Speak anyway. Yeah.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So my first answer, I want to ask.
Prachi network. I think
Yeah.
if somebody else here can reflect one more answer.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Anybody would like to reflect on any one more question? Litin, Akanksha, or Namra?
Okay, ma'am, I'm just trying to give the answers of the third question.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Okay, that how was
am
my
I
mood with
audible, ma'am?
others?
How was your mood with others?
How was my mood with others this week or
Yeah.
last week, and how can I improve it?
Yeah.
As we all know that the lockdown is going on and always the pressure is so high. My mood was a little bit bad in last few weeks, including this week, I can definitely say,
Yeah.
including the workload and the matters related to the salary, then health related to the health things and so on. And how can I improve it? It is, I think, because I was comparing it with someone who was feeling better than me, and I have to compare with others who are suffering more worse than me. So this comparison, I think, can help me to improve it, because many have lost the job and still I'm having the job. So this type of reflection may help me to improve my mood.
Yeah. Thank you, Litin. Thank you very much.
Okay,
yeah, that was interesting. Yes. So Shish Kamal Mishra is there. Would you like to speak?
He's there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, sir and ma'am.
Good morning.
Actually, I was going for just before some day, I was going for purchasing some goods from a grocery shop.
Yeah.
And there I found that a person just fallen from the scooty or his vehicle. So I just went to it and just picked him up. I am doing counseling for the particular person, whether he is hurted or not. So I found a great inspiration and you can say self-realization that I have helped a person, so that I want to do it again, and I don't want to that this particular situation will not be there with someone again.
Okay. Yeah.
So this gives me immense happiness from my inner soul.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. All right. If you look at the chat window, you will see many interesting responses. So I'm just going to quote a few teachers, like Manas, for example. He or she says, I was very upset. I was very upset last week. I don't know the reason, but mood. How was your mood last week? She says she was very upset. And then Geeta says she learned to make quiz on Google Forms. Right? She learned to make quiz on Google Forms. And then Monica says the best time spent was with her kids last weekend. And then Nandita says she saw the Ring of Fire solar eclipse on television last week. And then Rema Devi says she wants everybody to say that she's an approachable person. So very good. Thank you for your responses. Even on Facebook, I can see many of you posting your answers. Like Filza Khan, for example, for question 5, he or she says, I want people to think and talk good about me all the time. Excellent. I think that's what all of us want. Want others to talk about us. We don't want anybody to say anything negative about us. We don't want anyone to criticize us, right? So if we want everybody to say something good about us, we need to show it. Like our attitude should be positive. We need to behave in such a way that everybody can say something good about us. So thank you so much. We'll continue with the slides. Yeah.
You can switch off your video and audio and be there.
Yeah.
We can continue.
That's right. All right. Thank you so much. Yes. Okay. So how often do you ask such questions? Have you ever asked these questions before? Did you ever get an opportunity to ask questions to yourself, reflect on what's happening in your life or in your school, in your classrooms? All right. So just think about it. How often do we generally ask such questions? And how do we feel answering those questions? Are we happy, or do we feel slightly disturbed when we answer such self-reflective questions? And do these questions help us shed away negativity and do even better next time? If so, if you think such reflective questions help us become positive, change our mood, change our attitudes, and have a positive outlook towards life, then I think we should practice asking these self-reflective questions as much as possible, and watch how our learning practices or teaching practices, how our relationships and our outlook will transform for the better. So the more questions you ask yourself, the better. All right. So what has happened is, in our training programs, I generally keep asking such questions. I begin my training session with such questions. So I was teaching writing to a group of teachers, and I asked 3 or 4 questions like this. For example, these were all primary teachers. I wanted to know how they look at writing. So I asked them, see, writing is all about being able to write the 26 letters of the alphabet. See, many teachers think writing is, if students are able to write letters of the alphabet in grade 3 or grade 4, they're happy. So writing, they think, is all about writing the letters of the alphabet or just handwriting. So I asked teacher, do you agree or disagree? If yes, why? So what is writing in your opinion? I asked. And then my second question was, what is it that your students in grade 5 can write in their first language and in their second language, that is English? So what can your students write in their mother tongue and in their second language, or in your case, first language? And then what do you like and dislike about teaching writing? And finally, I asked, what are some interesting writing activities you have tried with your students? So do you think teachers were happy to answer these questions? Not really. I mean, they were not really happy to answer these. They didn't want to answer some of these questions. See, what do you like and dislike about teaching writing? What can your students do in grade 5? What can they write in English? And what are some of the interesting activities you conducted? Many teachers were not happy answering these questions. They didn't want to reflect on their own teaching and classroom practices. That was a bit surprising. So what I'd like to know is, from you is that, so what is difficult for you? Is reflecting itself difficult? Is reflecting difficult? Or is documenting your reflections difficult? When I say documenting, writing about it. So when you reflect, it just goes in the air, right? You have to document. So which is more difficult? I mean, is reflecting difficult? If so, why? And if you think documenting reflections is difficult, you can just say why, give some reasons. We are going to use Mentimeter. I think Jyoti will help me in conducting this poll, or can I do that? Yeah, I'm going to conduct a poll using Mentimeter.
You'll have to unshare your screen and then put it there. That's all. Otherwise,
Okay.
so yeah.
I'll do that. Yes.
You can do it on Google. Your network is touchwood working fine.
Yeah.
So you
I'll
can
do that.
easily do that.
Yes. Let me try. Okay, stop share. Can you see my Mentimeter page? Is that?
Yeah, we can see that.
All
we
right,
can see that.
So all the teachers, if you can just open a new tab and go to www.menti.com.
They have an idea about menti.com.
Yep.
You'll have to put it on present mode so that code can be visible.
Okay. So please type.
You already started.
Yeah, 818182. 818182. That's the code. That's your number.
Okay.
Yeah.
818182.
Yeah, 818182. Yes.
Done.
Yes.
I put it on the chat also for everybody to.
Excellent. Yeah.
Okay.
So everybody, please take part in this poll. Let us know how many of you. Oh, do you document your reflections? Yes. Those who are on Facebook can also try.
I'll put that there also.
Yes. All right. Yeah, please be honest. Like, yeah, I mean, I can see 57 teachers, 62, now 65. You're saying yes, sometimes. We document our reflections sometimes. And 21 teachers are saying yes, always. We document our reflections always. Excellent. And then no, I don't. That, I think that's a very honest opinion. 9 teachers are saying no, we don't do this. 10 of you are saying no, we don't document our reflections. All right. 31, yes, always. 31 teachers. 83, yes, sometimes. Sometimes we document our reflections. All right. That's fine. Okay, let's look at one more. Yes, one more slide. Just a second. Yes. Yeah. Sorry. Do you? No, I'm sorry. Yes. Just one second. Give me a second.
You have to, it's a new number, no?
Yeah, it's a new number. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
You have
yes.
to write
yes.
that. 80.
One second. I'm just checking my slide. Yeah.
Once he starts, ma'am, we'll put it on the chat.
Yeah. So this should have been the first question. Yes. Do you reflect on your classroom practices? 80380. 80380. So do you reflect on your classroom practices? And then comes, do you document them? Okay. Do you reflect on your classroom practices? Yeah. So can you quickly take the poll? Do you reflect on your classroom practices, on your teaching, on students learn, not necessarily on your teaching, on what students learn? All right. Do you reflect on your classroom practices? Yeah. Okay. So at least one teacher is saying, I'm not sure about this. That's interesting. I'm not sure about this. So sometimes I know it's difficult to say whether you're reflecting, thinking, or planning. So it's an abstract thing, right? Okay. And two of them are saying not sure about this. All right. So do you reflect on your classroom practices? No, I don't do this. One particular teacher says, no, I don't do this. Yes, sometimes. 29 teachers. Yes, sometimes. I hope you all can see the poll results. Everybody can see the results on the screen. Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So 41 teachers. Yes, always. We always reflect on our classroom practices. All right, 43, 50 teachers. Yes, sometimes. An equal number of 4 teachers. No, we don't do this. 5 teachers. We are not sure about this. That's fine. Excellent. All right. Thank you so much. Now, 1 or 2 teachers who are on the screen, can you please share your experiences? So you said, yeah, we reflect regularly. We document our reflections. Can you share your experiences? Teachers who have joined Zoom. Yeah, can you please? Yes.
Teachers who are there in the panelists, Namra, Sheesh Kamal,
yeah.
Litin.
Would you like to
share your experiences?
Yes. Who would like to share your experiences?
Sir, may I start?
Yeah, please.
Okay, sir. I used to start the class always by sharing the personal experience. Whenever one chapter is being taught there, I will start with my experience if I am having something related to that, or I will ask the students to start with their experience. So first of all, the students can easily connect the chapter with their real life, and they can just remember the incident that is mentioned in the chapter for a long.
Yeah, good.
So that is what the reflections process that we are doing in the classrooms.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Next, please.
So can I start?
Yeah.
Okay. So once I remember that I used to do it with the students only.
Who is speaking? Can we know your name, please?
Sir, Akanksha Tripathi.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I had to teach them compassion. So they were very much confused as it was a new word for them. So I asked them, how many of you have helped someone? So they were very much excited about it. They shared their experiences, and gradually I asked them about empathy, compassion. So they understood it very well, just because everyone had to share their experiences. So I think it is a very good practice because they learn and get motivated by this.
That's right. That's about students reflecting on compassion, empathy.
Yeah.
So when you go back to your staff room or when you go back home, do you reflect on what happened in the classroom? What did you teach? How did you teach? How can you improve?
Of course.
Yes.
I always reflect, even with my students also. So with them, I also become as a student only. So I used to tell my experience.
Do you write about your reflections? Do you keep a reflective diary, reflective journal?
Whenever I feel good and I feel that there is something which I should remember for a long time, I generally do.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Yeah.
Yes, sir. So in class 9, there is a poem, The Road Not Taken.
Yeah.
And it has a very, cut edge meaning also if we start connecting with the real life. So once I was teaching the poem, so I was just connecting it with the decisions that we make in our life. And it has a very wider meaning than the normal that reflects in the poem. So just I asked a question in the class that how many of you would like to go for a career that is opted by 99% of us, may it be engineering, may it be doctor. So everybody was of the opinion that yes, because we know what is our future. But I said, who would go for a bungee jumping? Hardly anyone was there. Because I said that is what we call road not taken. So this the idea behind what we say the ideology of reflective teaching. So when I went back home, so I reflected that yes, this is the proper way of teaching and introducing a chapter or a concept in a class to reflect the ideas. And from that day onwards, I started inculcating such kind of teachings that are not even, normal or bookish, but they are very giving a good lesson towards life. So this is what I reflected first time.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we will move on with the presentation if it's fine. Shish Kamal, do you want to
Yes,
speak?
sir.
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, actually, I am a computer teacher. So whenever we want to talk about the technologies and anything in the class, the students are very interested in knowing the things, how this invented and how this can be done. So I made them understand about that particular time when the ENIAC and EDSAC has built that large computers, and made them realize that the world is the computer is large enough to support or to cover more than 2 rooms. So my ideology will reflect them that they are moving at that time, and they are understanding that that particular computer is large enough. So because they are not able to see that, they are only seeing the normal computers that are laptop, mobiles, and so on.
Yeah.
So this is the reflection from my
side.
side.
Interesting. Very interesting. Thank you so much. All right. We'll continue with the presentation. Yes. I'll share my screen. Yes. Yeah, sure. Okay. So good to know that many of you find some time to reflect on what you do in the classrooms. All right. Those who are not doing this, I think you should start asking questions about what you teach, what your students learn, what are the different methods and techniques you applied in the classroom, and try to work on it and improve your practices. All right. So meaning, what is reflection actually? So the dictionary definition is, it is the image of something in a mirror. All right. Maybe image of ourselves in a mirror. When you look into the mirror, you will know how you look like. All right. So reflection is the image of something in a mirror or on any reflective surface. That's one dictionary definition. Second definition is, reflection is a serious and careful thought. It's a serious thought, seriously thinking about something. We are deeply thinking about an issue or a problem. All right. It could be a classroom problem or an issue in our life. For example, see one of the examples, after much reflection, he decided to quit teaching. That's funny, isn't it? So he decided not to join teaching. He decided to quit teaching after much reflection. Right. So what is reflective teaching? Reflective teaching means looking at what you do in the classroom, thinking about why you do it, and thinking about if it works. See, it's all about thinking about what you do in the classroom, thinking about why you do it. All right. If you're asking a few questions to your students, why are you asking these questions? Who are you asking these questions to? How many of your students were able to answer? And thinking about whether it works. It's a process of self-observation and self-evaluation. So most of you talked about your students, how they reflect. So at the same time, we need to see how we reflect. Do we observe ourselves? Do we evaluate ourselves? And how does it help in improving our classroom practices? All right. So in one of the books, Dr. N.S. Prabhu, he's an educationist. He talks about professional growth of teachers. And he says there is no best method. Why he asks? He begins one of the chapters like this. There is no best method. Why? Because he says teachers have to evolve their own methods. You have to evolve your own methods. After so many years of experience in teaching, you should take decisions and decide which is good, which is not. So there is nothing like good method, bad method. And he goes on to argue that the enemy of good teaching is not a bad method, but over-routinization. He says teaching has become a routine activity, like having breakfast or having lunch, a routine thing, right? We all do that without much thinking, much planning. I mean, you need to plan when you cook, for example, you need to plan, but then it's a mechanical activity. So teaching has also become a mechanical activity. Routinization of teaching is a danger to our profession, he says. So we should come out of this. We should not look at teaching as a routine or a mechanical activity, how to make it meaningful, right? And then Penny she's a great teacher educator. She says, she asks, what's the difference between teachers with 20 years of experience and those with 1 year's experience repeated 20 times? I mean, so both have 20 years of experience. One has a rich experience of 20 years, whereas the other one has 1 year experience. First year, maybe he is reading some books, he's innovating, he's experimenting in the classroom, but next 19 years, it's just a repetition. So who is better? Who is better? And Jeremy Harmer asked, who do you admire the most? A teacher with 1 year experience repeating the same stuff 20 times, or a teacher who has a rich experience of 20 years? Who do you admire the most and why? Obviously, the students and all of us, we like teachers who keep updating themselves, right? A teacher who keeps changing his or her methodology, a teacher who brings some change in her classrooms, who asks different types of questions. I think a teacher who keeps up to date with what is going on. I mean, these days, for example, we cannot teach without integrating technology. All right, online classes, we all have to learn how to conduct online classes. So if you don't update, then you're just repeating the stuff every year, right? And then, so talking about teacher training, it's a good idea. You're being taught what to do, but we should also seek to develop ourselves and our teaching. So teacher training, I mean, knowing theories, knowing new things from teacher trainers, it's all good, but we should develop ourselves. So participant in a teacher development workshop, for example, a participant said, you can train me and you can educate me, but you cannot develop me. I develop myself. So we can train teachers, we can educate them, but we cannot develop them. Development is up to them. If you want to develop, you need to put efforts, you need to learn new things, new skills. So I develop on my own. All right, it's a choice. Whether you want to develop or not, you need to decide. And then teachers' growth is something that arises from the ongoing activity of teaching. It's a process of thinking about and making sense of one's classroom experience. So teachers' growth is all about thinking about your classroom experiences, making sense of what's happening in the classroom. So a few activities that are likely to prompt teacher growth, a few activities are given below. One is looking at your own teaching, either live or video recorded. You can audio or video record your classrooms, watch them, and critically analyze your classroom videos. You will learn a lot by watching your own classroom videos or audio, for example. You can listen to audio recording of your classroom teaching, or teacher making pedagogic decisions in the classroom. If something doesn't work, then you need to change your plan. So you need to look at your lesson plans critically, make classroom decisions. And then the third activity is articulating pedagogic perceptions. You'll have to express your pedagogical ideas and opinions. What happens in your classroom, you need to share with others, maybe with one of your colleagues, maybe with your academic coordinator, sharing experiences, all right? Your beliefs, your attitudes towards students. Say articulation, expression, not keeping it for yourself. I think sharing is very important in teachers' professional development. So how many of you share your experiences, your classroom decisions, classroom activities with your colleagues? All right, so if there is an empathetic, sympathetic colleague who doesn't make judgments, who doesn't pass judgments, I think you should sit together, discuss your classroom issues. And the fourth way of developing ourselves is to interact with specialist perceptions. You can find a specialist, a teacher educator, a mentor. You can interact with them on a regular basis. All right, now let's quickly see how to write reflective journals. So I'm going to show you 3 samples. Please read all the 3 quickly and then tell me what is the difference. This is the first one. Yeah. Is this a reflective diary or not? Read and tell me whether there are some reflections or not. Yeah. So is this a reflective diary? How many of you think yes or no? You can, yeah. If you're on Facebook, you can type your responses. Is this reflective in nature or? Yeah.
I think no, sir.
No, why not?
Sir, reflection is not there. No? It's just a student perception.
That's right.
Student understanding.
That's right. That's right. You're right. The teacher is just describing the activity. It is description, not reflection. You're right. Very good. Let's look at the next one. Okay. So can you quickly read this? Yeah. So is this reflective? Yeah. Maybe I should see the responses in your chat window. Yeah, let me try. Okay, all right. I was extremely excited to be in the ATLL class and meet my students, all right. And then she says in that second paragraph, the first class was magical. I expressed the intention of the course and all that. And then she says, we also did a small activity in English. Students reflected. And finally, she says, it seemed to me that the class enjoyed reflecting on this classroom experience and talking about incidents from their lives and all that. This is reflective, all right? It's not just this description. She's not describing what she did. She's expressing her feelings. So it is reflective in nature. And finally, this is from a teacher training context. So the teacher goes on writing, as a teacher trainer, I have been using group work as a technique to deliver sessions, but it hasn't always been helpful to me. Most of the time when I ask participants to work in groups, some of them just leave, some start playing with their cell phones, others only pretend to be discussing and contributing. Only a few people in the groups are really working on the task. So group work seems to be a problem. So what does the teacher trainer want to do? So I want to ensure that everyone is contributing and collaborating. All right. So if you look at these three samples, the one is just a description of the teaching activity, whereas the other one, there is description, and also she has identified some concerns she has about the lesson. And the third one is not only describing an activity, the third one also identifies some concerns, classroom issues, conducting group work is a problem. So identifying some concerns and then think of alternative procedures to use in the future. So reflecting is not just describing, it's not just identifying classroom problems and issues, it's also about planning alternative procedures, thinking of alternative ways of doing it. What else can I do? How differently can I teach this particular lesson or poem? How differently can I teach grammar? So that is an alternative plan. That is reflection. So when you do something, if it works, fine. If it doesn't work, then go and reflect on it. How differently can I do it next time? So what to write? For example, when you write reflections, you can write based on these questions. Is there anything that worked well in your classroom? Write about it. Is there anything that did not work well in your classroom? Why? Why did this technique not work? Why and what happened? Is there anything that is worrying you about your classroom? Write about it. Is there any classroom incident that you would like to share and reflect on? If there are some incidents, these are called critical incidents, some incidents that you cannot handle, you should think about it, go and reflect on it, and then maybe share it with others. Right? So this is called reflective cycle. Something happens in the class, you reflect on it, and then you try to conceptualize it. You share your experience with others, you learn from others, from books or from journal articles or from a workshop, training program, and finally you go to classroom with plan B and try out new things. All right, that is active experimentation. So first you get a concrete experience, and then you reflect on your experience, and then you learn something new, and you innovate, experiment, and do something different in the classroom. That is professional development. So you can use classroom artifacts for reflection. The sources of reflection could be students writing, for example, or your own lesson plans. You can look at classroom pictures, reflect on it. your audio video recordings, listen, watch critically, reflect on it, or students' writings. How many of your students are able to write, solve maths problems, understand concepts, right? Yeah. And then peer observation, student feedback, critical friend, mentor, self-assessment. These are the sources of reflection. And you can write diaries, or you can share it on blogs. You can keep blogs, or you can use Google Documents so that you can share easily with others. All right, so I'm going to conclude. So a few tips for writing reflections. If you find this difficult, I think you should know why you are doing it. Why are you writing reflections? It's not just reflecting for the sake of it. You have to set goals for documenting reflections. Why do you want to reflect on this? What are your goals, objectives? And then set aside time. Every day, 10-15 minutes of your time, set aside for reflections, for documenting your reflections. And then review your reflections regularly to see what you can learn from them. Go back to your diaries, read them, review them, and then think deeply about it. And evaluate your experience to see if it meets your goals. So evaluate what you have written, your experiences, and see if you're able to achieve your goals, right? So the focus of your reflections could be, teachers can ask questions about their own teaching, like what did you set out to teach today? Were you able to accomplish these goals? How effective were the teaching learning materials? What grouping arrangements did you use? What kind of teacher-student interaction occurred in the class? Did you have any problems with the lesson? Did you do anything differently than usual? Did you discover anything new about your teaching? Or what changes do you think you should make in your teaching? So your reflections can be based on some of these questions about your own teaching, or questions about your students. Did students contribute actively to the lesson? If so, how many of them contributed? How did you respond to different students' needs? Were students challenged by your lesson? What do you think students really learned from the lesson? What did they like most about the lesson? So you can shift your focus on your students, ask these questions to yourself and reflect on it. How many students learned the concept? How many of them were active in my class today? What did they like most about today's class? You should reflect, I think. So that's all for today's presentation. I think it's time. I'd like to have 5 minutes at least for questions and answers. These are some of the books you can refer to if you're interested in this particular topic. So thank you very much, everybody. And I'll stop sharing my slides.
Thank you so much, Ravi. It was really thought-provoking. And I'm sure that all teachers who have seen this presentation will try to adopt reflective teaching practices. And it is like not for anybody else. It is for one's own improvement.
Absolutely.
I want to quote again what you said in the beginning. Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is wisdom. I think our teachers should know themselves and get more and more wisdom every day. And if I have to tell one thing more, in St. M.R. Jaipuria School, we always believe in a self, identification.
Yeah.
So our pedagogy itself is in 4 pillars like self-assessment, self-knowledge, self-learning, and self-reflection. So this is what we talk about the children, like we have to give them opportunity to realize their potential. Yeah. The same applies to teachers as well. You have to realize your own potential.
Yes.
And while the teachers are creating opportunities for the students to understand self and grow from there, to do self-evaluation, to do self-assessment, to do self-learning, I think it applies to you, my dear teachers, as well. So it was a wonderful session, and I think you interacted beautifully with the teachers, and they have also reflected very well. And I think today, at least end of the day, all the teachers who are here would go and reflect not only their teaching, but their reflections of the life probably during this difficult time. And then try to, find out some positive thing and then improve upon from there. So before I hand over to Narayan, Narayan sir is here. He will be here. He will be taking up few questions from the chat, and then probably we can interact with the teachers if they are in the panel. Otherwise, we will take questions and then we can close.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Yeah.
Dr. Ravi, it was very interesting. And I keep on telling all my colleagues and teachers also that reflection is very, very important, not only in teaching profession, but in every profession actually. And one thing I am happy to share that the lesson plan document that we share with the teachers of Jaipuria schools,
Yeah.
we have a column in that lesson plan document. We call it remarks and reflection. So usually teachers, I don't know how honestly the teachers are doing it, but if they do it, really they are going to better their teaching learning practices.
Yeah.
So already we have marked in our lesson plan document. So lesson plan document, they make it in advance, but yes, that column, remarks and reflection, they are supposed to fill at the end of the lesson. So I'm happy that we have accommodated this reflection already in our lesson plan.
Yeah.
I urge all my teachers to reflect and to fill this, because as Dr. Ravi said that it is just a tool to make a good teacher to a great teacher.
That's right. Yes.
So it's very, very important for us. So before I come to the question, I just have some personal questions for you.
Yeah.
There are some questions like this. Yes. And this question is quite recent and relevant because the entire teaching has come online these days.
That's right. Yes.
So are the tools that you discussed right now here, are the same tools going to help the teachers for reflection for teaching online?
Yeah, I think that's the best thing to do. So we are changing the mode of teaching, right? From face-to-face teaching to online teaching. This is the best time to reflect.
Yeah.
So in online, when we go for online teaching, how many students are actively involved? Are we encouraging rote learning again, or are they really understanding the concepts?
Yeah.
And then how many of them are copying from Google? I think this is the danger of online teaching. Many of them go to Google to get answers.
All right.
So, yes. So is learning meaningful? So this is, I think, the right time to reflect.
Right.
Yeah.
So there was one tool that you discussed while you were presenting, and it was peer review.
Yes.
So then there is a question that in schools, do we invite some external experts from outside in our classroom to review our lessons, or do we have some people in the school itself? And what is the criteria of selection for the peer?
Okay. That's a good question. Yes, that's right. Yeah. So ideally, I think it's good to identify someone in the same organization, in the same school, who can, if teachers feel free with each other, if they trust each other, if we are not judgmental, and the danger is if we make judgments, comments, then we cannot share experiences honestly. So it's good to identify some of your own colleagues with whom you can share, discuss your experiences, and discuss with each other so that both can learn. This is actually called cooperative development. Yeah. A concept developed by Julian Edge and Steve Mann. In cooperative development, what we do is both colleagues sit together, they discuss their experiences. So both the teachers grow in the process. He says or you watch a recorded lesson and you talk about it. Yes.
Yeah. I also go with this audio and video recording of the lessons.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So is it feasible in the classrooms where the students are somewhere, more than desired numbers?
Yes.
What do you say?
Yeah. Right. That is one thing. The other thing is, are we permitted to record classroom lessons? All right. So without permission, you cannot take pictures or even go for audio video recording. You need to take, from the management, from students or their parents. So that's a good question. So it's a school policy, actually, management policy, whether you can record or not. So I think 10-minute recording will always help. If you're an English teacher, for example, you can record first 10 minutes of your class and see how you speak. See, we talk about students, but how do we speak? How is our accent? How do we pronounce words? Are we able to speak fluently, ask appropriate questions? So turn the mirror, look at yourself. So you can't just depend on memory, right? So these recordings will always help to observe ourselves.
Really wonderful idea. So I'm coming to the questions of
here. In State MR Jaipuria schools, we do have for your understanding, Ravi, we have a teacher audit which we do annually and also on need basis. So we have all these components in it, like peer evaluation, recording, and then observing later on. So all these things, it is, for my dear teachers, it is not a fault finding exercise. It is only, as Narayan said, it is only we are reflecting, we are trying to make you a great teacher from a good teacher. So that is what I'm saying. This process we follow in State MR Jaipuria schools for even this webinar series, this training. It is not that we know that every teacher comes with a set of skill set, but we want to give them more skills, update their skills. So that is why we do this annual training series, maybe twice a year. So it is not that, they don't know anything, but then we know that to better their skills. That is what we are looking at. Narayan, sorry, that was just...
No, it was very important to share. So one question I will take up now. It's from Bibek Shukla from Rajajipuram campus, from Lucknow. So he's asking, how can we engage the most distracted student with reflective practices in the classroom? So it was somewhere the same when you mentioned that the group work is on and the most of the students are not engaged.
See, many a time what happens, I'm happy that you were able to identify an issue. See, many a time the problem is, as teachers, we are not able to identify such issues or problems. If a student feels distracted, so you're talking about one student who is distracted. The very fact that you're able to identify this shows that you are concerned. You're reflecting, actually. So what to do is the next stage. See, first stage is identifying such issues, such problems, how to engage distracted students, how to make your sessions more interesting, lively, think of different activities to involve everybody. So you have identified the right concern, but then you have to think of better ways of engaging such students, right? Technology will help. There are many interesting stories, animations, all right, and many platforms that will help you engage students actively, even distracted students. I mean, if you connect to them on social media, maybe they'll respond better sometimes. Those who are quiet in a regular class, they respond better on online classes sometimes. So you'll have to think of different strategies.
So, almost on behalf of teachers, I asked most of the questions actually.
We can ask the teachers who are already in the panel, whom we have invited, especially if they have any question.
Going to them.
Litin, Akansha or Namra. Please come online and ask your questions. You are getting a chance to interact with a teacher educator of Bangalore.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. So we'll go first.
Any question from you? One question each you can ask.
Okay, ma'am. Sir, I have two questions. First is
one.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Actually, sir, we are teaching a group of students. Maybe it is 20, 30 or whatever. So the reflection is showing on 29 students. And one student is showing the active participation in the class, but not showing the proper or not acquiring the proper marks in the assessments. So how to deal with those students, sir?
So how to deal with those students? So I'm not here to, give any advice as such, because I need to understand the context. See, you know your classroom much better than anyone else. So I can give you some tips which may work, which may not work. But as a classroom teacher, I think you're the right person to make decisions. That's what I meant by pedagogic decisions. All right. So as a teacher, you know what works, what doesn't work, what is possible, what is not possible. So that particular student, I don't know who he or she is, what is his or her background, and his or her academic interests, his interest in curricular activities, co-curricular activities. So I don't know the background, right? So without knowing much about the student, I can't really give you any tips. So the best thing is you have to make appropriate classroom decisions, how to involve, how to help them perform better, which activity helps this student but not the other students. Does group work help? or presentations? Do presentations help? Or are they active online, for example? Can we connect on other ways? I think as a teacher, you are the right person to make such decisions, not anyone else actually. And then your coordinators are there, your colleagues are there. I think you should discuss with your own colleagues and find remedy solutions. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Actually, it's not a question.
Namra, your question now.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I don't have a question. I have just word of appreciation for sir for just giving us a wonderful session and giving us an insight about what reflection actually is. And as he has guided us so well, so I think that questions will not help us, but self-analysis will. So under the limelight of the reflection process that he has taught is the best query that could solve other future coming problems. And the self-analysis and retrospecting the problems that are coming in the class and finding solutions by yourself will be the best solution that can come in coming days. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Well said. Excellent. Well said. Yeah. Thank you.
Akansha.
Sir, first of all, thank you so much, because as a teacher, we always try to analyze others and we forget to see ourselves. So thank you so much for just opening our eyes that we need to self-retrospect ourselves also. And one question that I would like to ask, that is language a barrier for reflection? Because many a times it happens that during normal regular classroom, what happens that students are comfortable in speaking in Hindi. So they generally ask that, ma'am, can I speak in Hindi if you allow us? Then only they will be able to express their feelings.
Yeah.
So what do you have to say about this, that we should allow them so that they can at least express themselves?
Yeah. Very good question, Akanksha. Very good. I think, yeah, that's very interesting. Like these days we talk about bilingual, multilingual classrooms. I don't know your policy, but we are not for English only policy in schools. We are not encouraging students to use only English. We're encouraging them to use as many languages as possible. If they want to express in their mother tongue, I think they should feel free. They have the right to expression, right to speaking. Language should not be a barrier, but unfortunately, it has become a barrier. So I think it's always good to encourage students to use the language that they're comfortable with, but with a purpose again. If it is language for reflection, yes, if English is a constraint, maybe they can feel free expressing in other languages. So I don't see any problem in reflecting, but language should not be a constraint. I think we should go for multilingualism, bilingualism, and let all languages flourish actually. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Nitin, your question.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Sir, actually, first of all, I appreciate you for that pointing out the need of just noting down the reflection, because we are just thinking, but it was not my practice to just note down it for the future purpose. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And I just not a question, I'm just sharing one experience that as you said that the peer evaluation is a better opportunity for just understanding ourselves. What I feel more comfort and more useful is that I just give an opportunity to my students at least twice in a year to evaluate my teaching. Means I just give a paper to all the students in the class. Excellent. Even as a class teacher and as a subject teacher. And I ask the students, don't write their names so that they can be frank, and they can write 2 positives and 5 negatives. The negative means where I need to make the improve.
Yeah.
So I just give a piece of paper to them and I collect all the papers and I read it aloud in the class so that all others can just understand it, and I keep it in a file. Yeah. So that is helping me a lot to understand my drawbacks and what is my positives.
Yeah, excellent.
I think that is also
fantastic. Fantastic. You're in the right path actually, but don't wait till the end of the year to get students' feedback. You can do it every week, every month, end of the unit also. You can
normally I'm doing twice in a year.
Yeah. All right. Yes. And why do you read it aloud in the class? Maybe reading aloud.
So that others can just understand where they have not focused. Whenever they are getting an opportunity hereafter, whether they should not focus only on some ideas, especially in the way of flattering should not be happen. It should be, they should be frank.
That's it. But if you read it aloud, make it public, then some students may not write their honest opinion. You will not.
No, but they are not writing their names. I'm not asking them to write the names.
Okay, but keep it for
say
yourself.
Anonymous.
Yes, keep it for yourself, your analysis, your evaluation, right? Yes. I mean, it's up to you. If you want to make it public, you can share. Otherwise, I think it's always good to keep it for ourselves. So yeah, and compare first round of feedback with the next round of feedback. Compare and see whether they have progressed. Are they just praising or are they really critical? Yeah, but well done.
That was a wonderful session. Ravi, I wish we had more time and we could have invited more teachers to reflect on their experiences. We just randomly picked up a couple of teachers here. And before we close, Narayan, can I just talk about, like the evening session? After that, you or Jyoti can close. My dear teachers, it was another wonderful session by Dr. Ravi Narayan from Bangalore. And so we really thanks a lot for your wonderful giving the teachers an insight of how reflective teaching will help them improve to become better teachers. So my evening at 3 o'clock, we'll have another excellent speaker who will be speaking on relaxation mantras for all times. So we have Neha Sharma, a very, very renowned educationist. I'll speak about her in the evening. And she is coming up with a special topic for you, my dear teachers, because we need to relax. Teachers need to relax. There's so much of tension, so much of crisis happening. And we need to find out mantras for relaxation. And I hope we have a very soothing session with Neha in the evening. At 3 o'clock, please come online and we will find out how we can relax ourselves, taking tips from Neha Sharma. Jyoti, we can close today's session.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Ravi, for an insightful, morning. Before we close, one thing that we would like to tell you is the pedagogy at Jaipuria is all about self. So we talk about self-learning, self-knowledge, self-reflection, self-assessment. Everything is self. So whenever we go into the classroom, we want it is all student-centric. So we want the students to analyze themselves all the time. And yes, as Narayan pointed out very clearly, that our lesson plan also talk a lot about reflective, self-reflection and to understand where we can come from. Coming from Litins, this thing, yes, it is very important to keep a track. And that is why we have these specialized register, which is known as, where the teacher keeps on noting down some points that has been done. Anecdotal records are maintained. And some reflections are there. What we do also is from the one class, the register goes to the next class. So the teacher already knows some points that the student is, working on, and the teacher can take it up from there. So there's some of the things that we are doing in our classroom, but yes, we have yet to do a lot. So coming from whatever we have gained from you today, I'm sure our teachers will be, really, really more and more, it will be helpful for them. So yes, it will be fantastic. And thank you so much for the wonderful session. Thank you to the teachers, Litin, Shrish Kamal, Akanksha, and Namra to come to be sportingly involved. And we picked you up as it is. We didn't want to do that, but it is a sign for others also that we might pick you up from the attendees and we'll bring you on the screen. So be ready every morning. Come dressed up. Maybe you'll get an opportunity to come on screen. So it is a motivation for all the other teachers.
Yeah.
Fantastic session. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Narayanji. Thank you, Veena ma'am. Thank you, Ravi, once again. Thank you to all my teachers. We'll meet at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Till then, bye-bye. Take care, all of you, and stay safe.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, team.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ravi.
Yeah, bye.